I'm taking my 5-star running back from our NCAA 14 Road to Glory High School series and seeing how great he can be in College Football 25. Make sure you watch until the end of the video because I'm giving away a copy of College Football 25 for PS5 and you could be the lucky winner. If you're just tuning into the channel for the first time, we've done a Road to Glory High School series on College Football Revamped to determine what our star ranking would be in College Football 25. We finished that season with a 5-star ranking, so I'm going to be taking that 5-star ranking into College Football 25 and starting a season from scratch. We'll obviously still be a halfback here, and as far as our position archetype goes, I'm going to be going with the elusive back. I found that for me at least, this seems to be the most effective way to run. I've played probably a couple dozen hours in Dynasty already, and I'm having a lot more luck with juking and change of direction than I am with just trying to truck through defenders, even when using power backs. As far as mental abilities go, I was conflicted between going with winning time and the natural. We are ultimately going to choose the natural. Composure doesn't seem to impact too much when you're a halfback because obviously you know what gap you're supposed to hit and you're not needing to remember all of the different routes that receivers are running on the field. I think there's a definite possibility we'll end up at a Midwestern school, and so the added bonus of not needing to worry about the elements is going to come in handy down the road. We'll start off by talking to this local TV reporter, Donna, who has a few questions. I'm letting her know that the most important thing for me early on is to improve my abilities quickly. Progression does seem a little bit slow in this mode and is definitely designed to kind of get you up to max level over the course of 4 years. I want to see just how quickly we can get those ratings up early on in my career as opposed to just having a really amazing senior season. We're also going to let her know that the most important thing for me coach-wise is learning under a prestigious head coach. I want to play for a great program, one with tradition, even if that means that I'm going to be having to fight for some playing time early on. Lastly, we're also going to tell her that it's important to play for the same head coach all 4 years, but if I'm honest, I definitely see myself transferring at least once, if not more than that, so that's more of a fluff answer. I spent a lot of time reviewing my options on signing day, but the one that I kept coming back to was Nebraska. They'll have me start right away. It's a great storied program with a lot of tradition, and we're not coming into a complete dumpster fire of a program. They've got a half-decent roster. We've got a good QB in Dylan Raiola, and so I'm going to commit to the Huskers and see just what we can do to bring this storied program back to prominence. One last review of all of our skill sets here, and I'm actually going to think about where we want to spend our skill points early on. I mentioned already that I'm having a lot of success with these jump cuts and change of direction, so I'm going to start by upgrading our elusiveness. This doesn't make any change to our overall at this point, but it does set the stage for better, more impactful upgrades down the line. We've got another reporter in our DMs. Johnny here wants to know who we're going to lean on to deal with pressure in the first year. Look, I know the importance of sucking up to coaches, so we're going to say that we're leaning on our coaching staff, see if that might give us a nice bump in coach trust, which it does. Lastly, OC is going to reach out and message us as well, give us some pointers about the upcoming season, talk a little bit about action points. I am liking this system for the most part early on. I definitely agree with the feedback I've seen that it seems like more of a time waster than anything, but it does at least introduce a few more variables to think about, especially with wear and tear. And you're going to see early on in this series especially, wear and tear is going to be a lot more of an impact than I thought it would be coming in. We really get beaten up in our first few games, and needing to go back and use action points or whatever they're called to heal, and as opposed to using it for your GPA or for your XP, it really does make some tough decisions. We're going to open up our first game of the season against UTEP, and I'm excited about this. I think that we could have a really solid game against a lesser opponent here and get our name out there, get on the radar of some of these other programs just in case things don't work out at Nebraska. But I'm super excited to play my first game in Memorial Stadium. It's rainy, so we're going to be able to use our abilities right from the get-go here. The boys are hyped coming out of the tunnel. The fans are excited. Another sellout crowd, and it didn't take a volleyball game to get them all here. I'm really looking forward to this season and seeing exactly how far we could take the Huskers with a talented but young roster in our first season. So we'll get the ball first here, and Coach is going to have us coming right out of the gate with a run. I'll leave it in this camera angle for the first few plays because I really do love how it looks, although I think it is a competitive disadvantage not being able to see anybody on the edge with that narrow field of view. Short gain of 4 on the first carry brings up a 2nd and 6. Obviously, we are well into our side of the field, so we've got some ground to make up if we want to score. We'll get held to 3rd and inches there, but Coach is going to trust us and let us take another handoff out of the gun here, but right up the middle, fight for this first down. And we will make a good cut, pick up 10 yards or so, and get a fresh set of downs and move the chains. We'll get a read option called pretty early here. I think with Dylan Raiola, this could be really effective if we can get some decent AI reads, essentially. And then obviously, as you can see, not only does the AI need to make the correct read, but they need to also be aggressive with which holes they're hitting, which I do find kind of time and time again is still an issue here. But we'll get a draw handoff. Again, kind of snuck up on by the outside defender there. I think we might have been able to get a first down with a better cut. Instead, we're held to 3rd and 4, and Coach is going to take us off the field. Jumping ahead to another drive, 2 minutes left in the first. We'll find ourselves in a 2nd and 6. Handoff to the outside here, and we've got a bit of a hole there. The 69 just lets go of his block a second too soon. Otherwise, I think I might have been able to break this for another 10 yards or so. 2nd and 5, we're going to be passing here. I'm supposed to run a route out to the flat, but instead I'm going to kind of call my own hot route, call a fake Texas route, and pick up our first reception for a first down. A few plays later, 3rd and 5 on opponent's side of the field, and we will get another reception to extend the drive. Now I'm kind of rolling my eyes here because I see the touch pass, but we're actually in empty, so this one will be going to me out of the slot. We take the handoff, good blocks, but we just cannot quite shake that other corner. What was looking promising at first will not quite develop, but we will still get a first down either way. Skipping ahead to just over 2 minutes left in the first half, we've got a draw play. Box is pretty empty, linebackers playing outside, and we will get some good blocks and take this for the first down for a gain of maybe 8. Now, at this point in the second half, we're only up 7 points. Obviously, we do have the ball and the potential to score since we're already on the opposing side of the field, but I really feel like we need to put some points on the board early to avoid a very embarrassing early loss against UTEP here. We'll pick up the first down, but Coach will take us out of the game. And late in the fourth, we've got another touch pass here. A little bit more excited now that I know that this is coming to me. Can we put some points on the board and put this out of reach for the Miners? Great seal blocks on the outside, and we will score our first touchdown as a Cornhusker. That's going to put us up 2 possessions and put the UTEP Miners to sleep in this one. I don't think they're coming back from down 2 possessions with 2 minutes left in the game. But you never know. Crazier things have happened. Ultimately, we will hold on to this one. UTEP will score 1 more touchdown, but we're going to sneak away with a 24-17 win. Obviously, I'd like to see a greater margin of victory here, given that it's UTEP, but we'll take what we can get early on. Obviously, freshman quarterback, freshman running back, young team. A win is a win, and all that we need to focus on at this point is keeping the momentum going into Game 2. We will also pick up player of the game here. Not the most impressive day on the ground. I think we finished with like 90 rushing yards, but we did get that receiving touchdown on the jet sweep there. Good momentum again, taking it into the second game of the season. Now the text that nobody likes to see, my academic advisor letting me know about our GPA and the importance of studying. I'll be honest, I kind of ignored the GPA piece in my first test Road to Glory playthrough, but as I started to focus on it more in later seasons, I realized that this and leadership are both going to have really strong knock-on effects down the road if you keep them high early on. So coming out of game one, we're also going to get our first NIL offer from Chef's Sporting Goods. 1 energy per week, but we will get 500 followers over the next 2 weeks, which is great. Again, kind of focusing on small improvements to that. And heading into week 2, we have a big matchup against Colorado in this rivalry. Looking at my weekly agenda, first focal point is going to be to get us back to full health. Wear and tear really kind of took us for a ride in that first game, down to nearly half health. And the effects that this has on your player don't seem all that pronounced, just kind of looking at it during the game, but the coach will absolutely take you out of the game if there's any risk of injury. So we'll head into game number 2, a night game, a rivalry game, a home game against Colorado. I'm super excited. Obviously, they have gotten a lot of love from EA. I tend to think they're a bit overrated. I think most people that have watched college football in the last few years would agree with that. But we need to prove that on the field and see if we can just run away with this one. Crowd is rocking, cheerleaders are excited, my guys are pumped coming out of the tunnel. We've got all the juice that we need. I'm ready to run through a brick wall and absolutely embarrass Travis and Shedeur if we can. Obviously, it's a little bit more embarrassing if we come out of this with a loss. First drive of the game, defense holds up well and will hold Colorado to a punt on their first drive. And then we get the chance to run this here with our first drive. Draw a handoff, we'll get caught on the O-lineman, and then we make, honestly, just kind of a bad cut. I think I needed to stay left there. Either way, gain of 6, another gun handoff to the left here on the inside zone. I don't know about you guys, I feel like there is something kind of fundamentally off with the spots in this game. I don't know if it's just a comparison to Madden or what, but I feel like I am consistently getting spotted maybe like half a yard behind where it seems like it should be. Anyway, not the end of the world, but we will find ourselves 3rd and 11, basically in our own end zone here. But against zero coverage, we get some great blocks and are just 1 tackle away from taking this 95 yards for a touchdown. But Travis Hunter will save the touchdown on that. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day. This one basically got out of hand in the first quarter, and other than some garbage time touchdowns, Colorado never really made it close. So we move to 2-0 with a rivalry win under our belt. Not sure if those 2 wins will be enough to move us into the top 25, given that they were against relatively kind of mediocre opponents. But Dylan Raiola going to take home player of the game, an insane 83% completion rating and 4 touchdowns through the air. We'll finish with 21 carries for 81 yards, no touchdowns, and our OC John here sees this and tells us immediately to hit the practice field. So I'm going to work on some agility exercises here. And this ended up being a bit of a mistake because I was already pretty low on my energy points heading into this and needed to make up some ground with our health. Wear and tear just continues to be a pretty big impact. As you can see here, we had that red chest injury. So we're going to use most of our energy for this week just basically getting back up to full health. That's going to wrap things up for this episode. I mentioned earlier that I'll be giving away a copy of College Football 25 for PS5. To enter that giveaway, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and then comment on this video letting me know which team you're playing with first in College Football 25. I'll announce the winner in the next video, and if you want me to do additional giveaways in the future, please like this video as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm looking forward to continuing this series. If you've got any feedback for me, please let me know down below. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one.